going to take this wheel cover off before we remove the wheel. Just use a 19mm socket. Loosen up these plastic covers. All right, slide that hubcap off. And take the 19mm socket, take the lug nuts off. And pull the wheel off. Take these push pins out. I'm just going to use a trim tool. Take that one out. This one's missing. Underneath here, take this one out. All right, pop that off. And there's another clip right here. All right, that's all the trim clips. Now we're going to take these two bolts out. Use a 7mm socket. And slide this panel out. The ABS wiring harness or the wheel speed wiring harness is clipped into the lower control arm. You can use a trim tool, try to get this off. Try to pry this up a little bit. A lot of times these break. To prevent them from breaking, you can use a little punch. Just go underneath and a hammer, give it a tap, and punch them out. And this one just unclips right here. And just slide that aside for now. Now I'm going to take a 15mm wrench and a 15mm socket on the other side. Take off the nut on this side. And take that bolt out. If it's stuck, you can use a 15mm socket and a gun. Take it out. Slide it out. Now I'm just going to take a pickle fork and remove the ball joint from the knuckle. There's other tools you can use other than this. All right, so I pulled the pickle fork off. I'm going to use a pry bar and just try to spread this a little bit on the knuckle. And there we go. Cut that off. Slide that out of the way. Take an 18mm wrench. There's a nut right here. Put that on the nut. And then 18mm socket. Take this bolt out. Take the nut off. Slide the bolt out. There we go. Take that bolt out. Now we'll take these two back bolts out. You're going to need an 18mm wrench for the top to hold the nut, and 18mm socket to take the bolt out. The same with this one. I'm just going to use a pry bar and pry it out over here. Just grab the control arm and pull it out. Now I'll take the control arm, line it up. It's easier to line up this piece right here first. Just take a dead blow hammer, give it a hit. Try to get this in position. Get that to line up. And take the bolt. You might need a pry bar to pry this up a little bit. Get this to line up. And take the nut, get the nut started on the other side. Then take these bolts in the back, line these up. And get the nut started on top. Do the same on the other one. Now I'm going to tighten these back bolts up. I'm going to use a 18mm wrench, 18mm socket. Now it is recommended that you replace these bolts, the front bolts and the bolt that goes to the knuckle when you're doing this job. We're going to reuse ours. Tighten this one. Then we're going to use a torque wrench, tighten these to 52 foot-pounds. And then if you have an angle meter, you want to go an additional 75 degrees. If you don't have one, just do the best you can. Before I tighten this bolt up, I want to try to get the lower control arm as close to ride height as possible. So I'll just set this aside the knuckle so it's a little bit higher. What they want you to do is actually put this all together with the vehicle on the ground and then torque this bolt, but that's unrealistic, kind of hard to do, especially in the driveway. So I'm going to torque it like this. And then torque this bolt to 52 foot-pounds. And then an additional 90 degrees. Now just pull down on the control arm, get the ball joint lined up. Just be careful, don't put your fingers over there. And just try to move the knuckle around, get this to line up. Just give it a couple bonks underneath here. That should be good. Take the bolt, line the bolt up, put the nut on the back side. I'll just tighten this up. Now I'm going to tighten this to 37 foot-pounds. And then you go an additional 120 degrees. And then you're going to loosen the bolt. Loosen. And then tighten it again to 37 foot-pounds. And then an additional 35 degrees. All right, take this wheel speed harness, reposition it, put that clip back in, put these clips back in, just like that. Take this panel, put that back in position, take these bolts, get these started, put these push pins back in, and right here as well. And now I'm going to tighten those two bolts. And this one also. After you're done this job, you want to make sure you go to a local garage to have the vehicle aligned so you don't have premature tire wear. Install the wheel. I'm going to torque these lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds in a star pattern so that the wheel gets tightened down evenly. Just going to go around again, double check. All right, line up the hubcap. And just take the socket and tighten these down. Just do it by hand, otherwise you're going to strip these out.